Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. So I'm here today with my friend, Reverend Denise Roberge. Hello, Denise.
Hello, Dr. Vicki. How are you?
I'm good, Denise. Thank you. So we're going to do high tea. I think the last time we did high tea was
A month ago, maybe?
maybe a month ago. Yeah.
Mm.
So Denise and I were just sort of chit-chatting before we got together and talking about our week and any energies that we're experiencing. And of course, we've discussed that there's quite a bit of free floating anxiety out there. And energetically, for me, I was very I don't want to say I was shut down because I was wide open, but I felt the need to be open to the energies and closed off to almost everything else except for my husband and my clients. I wasn't sort of reaching out to friends or even family who were trying to get a hold of me. I felt like I needed a boundary around me so I could process the energy that was coming through, because I knew that this was a very, very potent and an important time, both energetically, astrologically. Um, so I was going from that perspective. Now, what was your week like as far as the energies, Denise? What would you say?
It was pretty wild. I benefit from the fact that I live alone and I work from home, and in my energy field is only my dog and occasionally my family members that live downstairs. So I shut myself off all the time. And this is how I survive. So I totally get having to put boundaries around yourself. I have to do it all the time. I have to, if I have a project to do, I have to give myself a whole day, because if I'm a little too tired or I'm a little of this or a little of that, I have to say, okay, I can't do it at 9 o'clock. So maybe I'll be able to do it at 3 o'clock. I am so tuned in most of the time, and I don't know how I'm going to feel. I mean, lately I've been tired. I've been really, really tired, off and on. It was constant for a while. Now it's just once in a while. But I had my first anxiety attack in months this week, and I know what it was about because I'm alone a lot and I'm able to process and get it, get information, guidance and whatnot as needed. It was related to my years and years and years and years as a small child through college of math anxiety. This is an old pattern. And this is what I mean. I told you, I briefly mentioned to you earlier in the week, I'm just releasing all this old shit. I'm dragging stuff up from childhood again and letting and feeling it and releasing it. And if I wasn't as awake as I am, I would think I was going crazy. But because I'm awake, I'm able to say, oh my God, you're looking at this again. Okay, good. Going at it from a deeper angle. I can talk my way through these emotional releases, these old patterning experiences and whatnot. Otherwise, if I didn't have the information that I have and have the guidance that I have, I would truly be a mentally ill person. I know I would, because I'm just an open vessel for energy.
Yeah.
And I've had to learn how to, close it down like you do every now and then. I have to do this on a daily basis. I have to spend at least a couple of hours in solitude every single day.
Yes.
And I have to build that into my life. There's no way I have to let the energies process. I have to watch my thoughts. And if I have chronic negative thoughts, I have to stop what I'm doing and, do all the things I know how to do to change it. So at any given moment, I might be taking a nap. I might be reading. I might be listening to music. I might be singing. I might be dancing. I might be writing. I might be journaling, so for me, self-care is my biggest job. Yes, that's the biggest job. So yes, the energies have been outrageous, and all my clients are saying the same thing. And it's nice to be able to teach them what I know, and it also reinforces from myself what I know. So I'm glad that I'm so glad I live alone, because I couldn't be in a relationship. Right now, With these energies, no.
So we were thinking last time we did a card, we pulled a couple of cards to start to see what spirit might have to say to us. So I last time Denise pulled cards. So this time I think I'm going to pull just a couple of cards out of my illuminated earth oracle deck to see what perhaps the earth has to remind us of maybe at this time. But it's certainly understandable if you guys out there are freaking out, because the outer world is really showing us a lot right now. And one of the things I think that is coming through very clearly is the power dynamic of power over overwhelming force against groups of people who haven't done really anything. Sort of the power over kind of dynamic. And last night I was listening to I think her name is Marsha or something like that, Geller. She's done I think she wrote a book on Putin. She's one of the experts on Putin. I think she was born in Russia. So she lived in the Soviet Union, I think. Yeah, 'cause she's probably my age. So she lived in the Soviet Union and she didn't. And so she saw the whole process. He has a very interesting history that I knew nothing about. But as I was listening to it, his chart, of course, I look at everything through somebody's chart, and you could really see a lot of the themes that are going on now. And in his case, a lot has to do with the past, right? So I think we're all sort of going back to a past, and remembering and thinking and bringing it up, but it's part of the process of releasing that stuff. The South Node right now is in Scorpio. Scorpio is about letting go, and it's a lot. There's a lot of shadow work that's happening now, and so not only are we seeing it in the outer world with somebody like Vladimir Putin, but seeing it in our own lives. Those things that undo us, those things that like take us off, whatever direction we think we're going. We usually it's usually not the direction we end up going, but that's another story for another day. All right, so let me just pick a couple of cards here, and if you get an impression off of one of them, Denise, feel free.
I will.
What do we need to be aware of today on this high tea? We have decay, and let me just, these are beautiful cards, but sometimes they're hard to focus on.
Put it
Well,
down.
it says decay under here.
Okay. What does it say on top?
Doesn't.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, that's, yeah. Okay.
Is that it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that's the first, decay. I have a feeling I know what that is about. But let's see what else comes up. Balance. Interesting that if you look at these two cards together, they're, oops, I almost dropped all my cards.
A lot of triangles.
Yeah, they're pretty similar.
Yeah, they are.
Right? They're pretty similar. So we have decay, balance, and responsibility.
Wow, it's striking that that's a northern Viking type.
Yeah, she looks like she's on the plains of Russia or Siberia, right?
Yes, she does. Okay, well, you read the cards. I'm not going to.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to mention that on the decay card, the world it looks like it's ready to tip off the triangle, like fall off the grid. It looks like very precarious and not stable. And I could go on, but that's your reading. You go.
Okay. So what this looks like to me is that things, I mean, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. The things that don't work, the things that are impediments must decay. They must go away. They must go back. Maybe we might say back to the earth, right? From whence it came, that kind of idea. But then we have the balance, and then we have the responsibility. So it sort of reminds us that this process that we're going through is one of releasing and letting go. And it's almost like we can't judge all those things that are happening at this time,
Right.
because it's a process. And then our responsibility in that process is to remain balanced through it, right? And so balance through whether
Or to return to balance, because we're going to fall out of balance. That's going to happen. But to return to balance is
well,
as
to
often as
certainly
we need to.
aspire to some sort of balance.
Yes.
So
yes.
what kind of things do you do to balance out your energies personally that might be helpful to the people who watch us, Denise?
I just did a Facebook Live. So any of you who happen to be friends with me on my personal page, I just did a live on that actually, just before I got on here.
No coincidences.
No. So briefly, I have so much mental activity. If I become the least bit ungrounded, then my head is very hot, becomes very hot and very active. And when I have too much energy in my head, meaning I'm thinking too many thoughts, or I'm worrying about too many things, or I'm having ruminations or obsessive thoughts, I know that I'm ready to tip. I know that that's a big symptom of me being way out of balance. If I'm up here, that means my energy isn't equally running equally through my body, and I'm not,
Right.
not as grounded to the planet as I need to be. I'm not as grounded. So I watch those thoughts, and for a few minutes, I go, okay, I'm off. And I stop and I go, what were the last 5 or 10 things I thought about? And if I find a theme or a particular thing, I go, oh, well, there's a lie, or there's something I exaggerated, or there's some self-flagellation going on, or whatever it might be. And I name it. I don't judge myself, but I do name it so that the letting go work is clearer. And from there, I start to counter those negative thoughts with positive ones. And this is something I do all by myself. Sometimes I do in meditation, but usually I just go, okay, now's the time. So I take the themes and I go, I am intelligent. I am not stupid. I am attractive. I don't say I'm not ugly. I say I'm attractive. So that was a lie. I'm smart. So that was a lie. People love me. So that was a lie. In my head, I know I recognize and call out the lies.
So you're kind of balancing, in a way, you're balancing the scales in that way, like mentally.
Yeah. Right? I have to do it mentally first, because my thoughts lead to my emotions. And if I can cut it off at the thought level, at the cognitive level, then it's emotion body, and then me be all out of whack emotionally. If I'm out of whack emotionally, which certainly can happen. I'm sorry, did you have a question?
No, it's interesting how you say it goes from your mind to your emotions. Being a Capricorn that you are, that's not necessarily a Capricorn thing per se. But for me, I do it, it's the opposite. I feel it first, and then I have to figure out in my head what I'm feeling. And I'm a Cancer, so I'm the opposite sign of you. So I'm just, that may just be it may be just specific to me and you, right? Or I'm wondering.
Well, it might. I think everyone processes differently, and I have to. This about me. There are times when I have in the past become absolutely overwhelmed emotionally and had no idea what was going on in my head. But since then, I kind of switched how I deal. If I feel like I'm going into a hyper emotional state, I go with the cognition, because it's usually the cognitive stuff that's funneling into my emotional state. So that's how I look at it for me. But It's really okay. How some people feel it in their stomach. Some people have to calm their stomachs down because they feel turmoil. I feel maybe some people have to start with their stomach or their root. If people are feeling like, way off balance, and, maybe they have to start listening to what their root is telling them. So I think it can happen you can start from any chakra. I don't think there's a pattern for anybody. I think you just listen to your body and know. My brain is very active a lot of the time. So, and when it's active in a positive manner, I get good things done. I get momentum, and, and when I'm fueling my thoughts are fueled by my soul. Their thoughts like, oh, Denise, what a blessed opportunity. You're going to do a psychic, you're going to get to help 15 or 20 people that day. Yay. And I start thinking, and if I'm thinking about, oh, I got a new client next week. Yay. If those are the thoughts that are going on, I'm in creative mode and I'm in a little excitement, and, so my emotions are good. For me, I have to watch the thoughts. So then how do I take care of myself emotionally? I take naps. That's a big one. Even if I don't feel bad, I try to rest for at least a half an hour or an hour, because that's part of.
You don't have to feel bad to nap. You
No,
just have to feel like you have to nap.
I feel like I need to lay down whether I sleep or not. I feel like I need to get my feet up, and I do it as many days as humanly possible. I lay down for half an hour to an hour. Sometimes I put on a meditation music or something, and that helps me rebalance. And it's usually midday, early afternoon. I feel like my day is broken up into three pieces. I have my morning where I'm most active. I need to slow it down a little bit, and eat lunch and have a little rest. And then I get back to work and I'm recharged. And then I can go from 3 p.m. till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
I think this developed in part because there are some days that I work until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. But anyway, the other things to let go. I used last week. I had a bunch of interactions with Archangel Michael, and
Oh my God, me
yeah.
too.
Yeah, I needed
Big
him.
time.
He is all over the planet right now.
Yes.
He's everywhere. Thank you, Archangel Michael. I'm very grateful. But emotionally, I was trying to cut cords with a very negative situation with a couple of people, but it was all rolled into the same ball of wax. There was a ball
Yes.
of wax,
Yes.
and family,
I
and
understand.
and oh my, I just sat and I breathed and went into sort of a meditative state, and I called on Archangel Michael, and I had him visualize his sort of light. And for some reason, I felt most of it on one side. I felt like the cords needed to be cut on one side, and I could feel the cords. And he very gently, like butter, and I did this with a client as well last week, and she needed it too, like butter, just cut through the cords and gently cauterize them with his sword. And I don't know if this was happening to me or I was creating it. I don't know, but I know it was Archangel Michael with me. And that started the process of releasing for me. That started the emotional release of that situation. That situation was fraught with old shit, old 40 years ago shit. You know what I mean? Old stuff from childhood stuff, because the situation, the main situation.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
That's so, intertwined. It's all mixed up in the ball of wax. So I had to cut a whole bunch of things. So, and then I also, sometimes I talk to people and sometimes I journal. Sometimes I need to process with words. I'm really hyperverbal, and
you don't say.
Yeah, I own it. It's one of my superpowers, Vicki. So sometimes it's annoying, but it's still a superpower.
Oh, too funny.
That's it for now, I guess, unless you have any other questions.
I wasn't cutting you off. I was
no, really. I think I talked
making a funny. I think, that's another thing that's like so very important at this time, is to just laugh. I mean,
amen.
So much. There's just,
absolutely.
I mean, you watch you see these poor people suffering, and it's like, and it's like, you have to balance that. Like, and that's something else that it's important to know what's going on, but you have to find a balance between knowing what's going on and then
taking it all
stepping back from it to, on some level process it, process the unprocessable, really. I
Well,
mean,
it's
how,
compassionately detach. It's to detach from it, from your emotional body, but still in a higher, from a higher dimension, have grand compassion and grand love, and all the best wishes. Is compassionate detachment is one of the best Buddhist philosophies for me.
I know when I feel Archangel Michael's energy around me, it's very much like that. It's very erect. It's very, he holds the sword of truth, and in most depictions, he also holds the scales of justice.
Yes.
So he on a certain level, and I don't know if this is an Archangel Michael thing, because I'm not versed per se in the archangels the way many readers and people in metaphysics or spiritual people are, but it's a very different energy than, say, Raphael's energy or
Mhm,
Gabriel's energy,
mhm, mhm.
right? It's just like Gabriel, I feel like I can talk to Gabriel.
Mm.
And Raphael, I feel like he's always doing his healing work, but Michael is like, Michael comes in the room and everyone like sits up straight,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because there's that and he is the archangel, he is the patron saint of like
Please.
police officers,
Mm.
right?
Yep.
And Kiev, he's the patron saint of Kiev. So there's this very sort of
Kiev in Russia, or Kiev
Kiev,
in
yeah, Kiev in the Ukraine,
Ukraine.
which used to be Kiev in Russia, but now it's
Well, it's
Kiev
Russian in
Ukraine.
Kiev, and Ukrainian it's Kiev.
It's Kiev,
Kiev
yeah.
or
Yeah,
Kiev.
we're all learning how to speak Ukrainian, which I
I
think
know,
is,
right?
try doing the numerology with those names.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Like Volodymyr and Vladimir are the same name, just in two different languages.
yeah, somebody actually commented, and I wish I had her name because I wanted to thank her. Vladimir Putin's name is Vladimir Vladimovich Putin, right? So he's Vladimir, which means
He's a double
ruler
Vlad.
ruler of the world, ruler of the world, and Putin, which I don't know what that means. But
Well, it's I know what
Volodymyr,
Putin means.
Volodymyr, I know, right? Boo boo. No, Volodymyr is Volodymyr is leader of the world or ruler of the world. I don't know which one it is. Again, I don't speak these languages, but his middle name is Alexander, or whatever the what do you call is to Alexander in Ukrainian, which I'm not going to try to say, but that's protector.
Isn't that interesting?
So and then of course their energies are very, Vladimir is very like this, and the other guy is like, let's talk about it, let's have a discussion,
Did you see Zelensky's Dancing with the Stars,
yeah,
the Ukrainian version? That man can dance, and he was a comic, and he's a heck of a president. What an amazing Renaissance man he
well,
is.
I think he's got a real he's got a well, first of all, he's coming from his heart. So whenever
Oh,
you come from, that's the difference. See, that's why people respond to him, because he's coming from his heart, whereas Putin is coming from his solar plexus, and so you're afraid of him. The solar plexus is like fear.
is your will, and I'm gonna overtake your will. So he's
Yeah, well,
gonna
it's personal.
I'm gonna eat you. It feels like he's gonna eat you.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a different vibe, but of course we're moving into an age where, and as we ascend, we're moving from that solar plexus energy to the heart energy. So in a lot of ways, Zelensky is the future.
Yes. Well,
And
I'd like to mention something that's definitely related to this. In esoteric metaphysics, many people believe that there are now many, many, many millions of people on the planet whose root chakra is now their heart.
yes,
That they're
that's the
actually
ascension.
rooted into the heart, and that their chakras go up from there. So they're starting here. So this would be the root, and we go up. And then there are people that know how to, and I actually have done this with people. I know how to do this with people that are open, can go up another level and see things from. I think seeing things from a higher perspective is really, really beneficial.
It is, it is as long as you keep your feet on the ground or something on the ground.
Well,
You
your
have to have
feet are
something.
always, if you're incarnated, your feet are on the ground, but I agree that I don't spend a lot of time in the upper dimensions. I do when I need to, or when it seems called for. But if my feet aren't on the ground and all my energy isn't grounded, it's not usable. It's not able to do what it needs to do. So I have experiences with upper dimensions, which is fabulous for me because it expands me and it gives me more energy and it informs my heart. But then I need to keep my feet on the ground in order to use it. It's not
Right.
practical. If it can't be used, it's not practical. You know me,
Right.
that's another Capricorn thing. I'm probably it's probably not all that common for someone who's a triple Capricorn to be so multidimensional so much of the time. But
It's actually, well, it depends on your level of, how evolved you are, right? You
right,
also have Aquarius energy in your chart. So
I
that's
sure
gonna,
do.
if you were just Capricorn, you would sort of be stuck in that in a way. But
Mhm.
Aquarius is sort of brings you to the next level, as it were.
You were talking a minute ago, and I think I interrupted you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Um, you were talking about the importance of laughter
Yes.
and the importance of finding joy and all that. Brilliant. I would recommend that to the whole entire world. If you don't feel happy, find whatever it takes to get happy. You know what I do? I watch comedy shows. I watch
Yes.
stand-up comedy or a comedy series or whatever sometimes because it completely takes me out. I laugh and I feel better. Laughing is really good. And as a
Yeah.
serious Capricorn, I have to give myself opportunities to laugh.
Yes.
I
Yes.
have to make it happen. It doesn't happen automatically. I have to, but you could make me laugh, thank God. I have certain people that I have family members that get me rolling and crying, thank God, Um, but laughter isn't my go-to. I have to make that happen.
It's funny. My husband, Michael, who you know rather well,
Very well. Yeah,
he's kind of a serious dude.
he
Like,
is.
it's a little bit of a scowl, and he's, if you look at him, you're like, oh. But
Oh,
every
he doesn't
like,
scare me.
I know. He's really a sweetheart, but
Yeah, he is.
he can put on a good grumpy face.
Oh, he
Well,
can. Yeah, he's got a
you know,
good grumpy
he's
face.
got a good grumpy cat thing
Yeah.
going on occasion. But at the end of the week, he'll usually, like Friday nights, he'll always look for some comedy to watch. And he'll just, because, I tend to go to bed a little earlier than he does. And I'll be down there. And sometimes he wakes me up with his laughter because he's laughing so hard.
Good for him.
But he
That's so
doesn't like,
therapeutic.
it's almost like a therapy or taking a pill for him.
It is a
Because,
therapy.
yeah, he's very much like I call him a self-cleaning oven. He's not one to share his thoughts. And, I keep saying, maybe you want to go to therapy and talk about it. And he's like, I don't know. He just like, he feels like he can like handle it all himself, but he has his own ways of doing it. And so, I mean, there's no right and wrong way, as long as we're
Oh,
finding the balance, whether
yes.
it's through laughter or whether it's through isolation or
Or
whether it's through
or something like journaling or
journaling. Yeah. I mean, we all
what
have.
I've been doing a lot of. I don't laugh a lot, but I've been singing almost every day, and that raises my vibration. That makes me feel like I've been laughing. It has a similar feel when I sing because I sing songs that I love. I only sing songs that
Right.
I love. So singing
Well,
is a good thing.
Well, laughing is like music. Like when
It
you
is.
hear like a little kid laugh, it's just like it makes you feel so good,
That is musical. Yeah.
And my husband Michael always makes me laugh because he loves my laugh, and he'll always say, "I love when I make you laugh," because, well, it's not that hard because I'm an easy. He's pretty funny, but I'm an easy I'm an easy audience.
You make me laugh. I know maybe you need Michael to make you laugh, but you make me laugh. When we're having our fun, friendly conversations, I can laugh. I like to laugh with you. I have a couple
Yeah,
of friends that if I'm feeling like I haven't laughed lately, I call.
I know.
I,
There are a few, and then there are those friends who you're like, oh my God, my life is not going in the direction that I want to. I better call so and so, and then you're going to get a ration of it. But
yeah.
it's because they're your friends that they'll tell you, how they see it. You don't have to necessarily agree with them 100%, but it's very helpful, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's helpful to have your own way of dealing with your stress. It's really
And
helpful
it's
to
helpful to
have,
have more than one, because I have a whole
right.
arsenal of things that I use, and
But we
it,
need,
we
we need
need.
a whole arsenal these days. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
just about every opportunity that you have, you kind of need to take it to bring a balance to all the intensity.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this at the beginning, but I would just like to reiterate that everyone who's feeling intense energies right now, everyone who's having feeling like, oh no, I'm doing this again. Oh no, this old thing is coming up again. Oh, this old trauma is coming up again, and feeling heavy and feeling emotional. It's the time for us to do that. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. And you can feel like crap and still be okay. And there's a
Yeah.
part of you that's always okay. And that's your highest self. You're always okay. And you're always going to return to balance. But boy, walking through it is hard. Walking through it is hard. But everyone's going to be okay. Ukraine's going to be okay. I know this sounds very trite, but I believe this to be true. I believe it. I believe we're all going to be okay. It's a process. We're in a process. And
I
if we can
think
acknowledge
yeah,
that.
it's almost like sometimes I feel like when I'm watching something like what's going on there, I know because I'm not in it, I'm watching it from afar, and you always are looking at it through the eyes of who's ever reporting it. So you have to
Right.
always keep that in mind as well. Um, but I feel like I go into these different like worlds. It's almost like you remember when you were a little kid, they had the Viewmaster. Do you remember the
Yes.
Viewmaster?
We
You go bing,
found one in my
bing.
grandmother's attic. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like you look at pictures of faraway places and you
Yeah.
just bing, bing, bing. And it's kind of like that's what it feels like. It's like we're looking through a Viewmaster and then we click it and then it's a different. So there's this whole like energy around the focus. And
Mhm.
I think that our intentions are very, very powerful. And that's why my go-to when things get really like I don't know what to do, I always attempt to do what it is that brings me the most happiness,
Amen to that. Amen.
right?
Couldn't agree more.
Right. Sometimes it's food, but not exclusively, although some people can do that. But just like
I
one
wish food still worked for me. I love food, but it doesn't,
well, it works.
overeating doesn't work for me anymore. And I've
Yeah,
had to let it
yeah,
go.
that's not, yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's not overeating. Sometimes it's just like, hey, I really need a piece of chocolate right about now, that kind of thing. But um, I think I think I lost my point. But
We
there's
all
just
have different activities that are our go-to soothing activities, I think is what you were talking about.
right, and I think doing what you love, shining your light from the inside out. That's where we have to come from. There's nothing. Our greatest power is the power of the self, capital S, that we can only connect with. Our little s, which is our ego personality, this life that we're living, connects with the S, the big S, the self, the higher self, through the process of just sort of being in that moment. And
The power is in the moment.
the higher self resides in the heart. And so if you want to be led by your higher vibrational sensibilities, I guess we could call it, your best self, there's that expression, being our best selves. Those best selves are always connected to compassion and are always connected to love and concern and
Yes.
care. And, sometimes that concern and care requires us to defend something. And sometimes that care and concern requires us to open up to
Mhm.
something. So it's not just all opening or all protection.
Right.
It's the breathing. We have the expansion of the lungs, bringing in new experience, and then we have the
Yeah.
exaltation, which
The
is letting
sympathetic
go.
and the parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
We have.
So there's and I think that I'm sure that you're having a similar situation on your end. Is physically it's been very difficult. Now it's shifted. There's been a shift and I felt a shift. But last week, a lot of the time it was very difficult to move through the day For me, actual
Me
physical
too. Me
movement,
too. Oh,
all
yeah.
my joints, I felt like I was moving through molasses. That's
Yeah.
what it felt like. And
I
and
only got
so
my movement back, I'm going to say 3 or 4 days ago.
yeah, it's been very heavy. It's
Yeah.
been very heavy. And the other thing I want to mention about this whole like Pluto South Node thing that I mentioned in the beginning, and we're talking about the past coming up. Very often for me, I get these waves of feeling, and that I don't necessarily, first, I have to discern whether it's me or not. That's the first thing I have to do.
Absolutely.
Then
Yes.
when I realize that it's not something outside of me and that it's actually something within me, I observe, and it's almost like a veil gets lifted.
Mm.
It's like it's like, there's, I think there's a dance, like the dance of the seven veils,
Yeah.
right? The unveiling of Isis and all that stuff. All that stuff, actually all that stuff is connected to Venus. And Venus has been going through in the sky. And of course, Venus is the feminine. It is our values, it's what's important to us, it's our love, it's our relationships, all the things that, kind of are in our heart in a way, Venus. And in our stomach, Venus likes to eat, and Venus likes to love and make love, and all those areas, right? So Venus has been in Capricorn for a really long time because
Oh,
she
that
was
explains
retrograde.
it. That explains an
Yes,
awful lot
she
to
was,
me.
and she was retrograde in Capricorn, and she made three, count them, three, she had three meetups with Pluto.
Ooh.
And the other day, when Putin attacked the nuclear arms facility, which is when, I mean, the nuclear facility, which is when I felt the most angst. Not, it didn't feel personal. I just sort of like stepped back from it and opened up, and it felt like a torrent of fear. And it would have been very easy to sort of stick your toe in that fear and get sucked in. So
Yes.
I stepped back from it for my own mental health, really, and emotional health, because I knew I wasn't going to do
Well,
any good
this
in the
planet,
fear.
it's understandable because this planet hasn't even recovered from Yagasaki, the one in
Oh,
Japan, Fukushima.
Daiichi, yeah.
We're still having after effects from that. It's this nuclear stuff. These plants have got to go. Got to go.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that's what that was about. I mean, it was to show us that perhaps, like Michael said, if you bomb a windmill, you don't have a windmill. If you bomb a nuclear plant, you don't have a planet.
Right.
So how viable is nuclear energy really?
It's
Especially
not.
not to mention what people can do, but I mean, Fukushima went up because of a rising, the earthquake and the tsunami. Most nuclear plants have to be near water because they have to
They need the
they have
water.
that they have to cool off the rods, as it were. And they're all on the coast, and they'll be underwater soon. So I mean, I don't know what they're thinking about that, but I think, well, that's just something I didn't really want to get into that, except that I did. But there's that day was the day that Mars and Pluto made their every 2 years they come together. And of course, Mars is aggression, and Pluto is the lord of death, really. Um, and then right after that, Venus came in and conjoined Pluto. And today they actually move into Aquarius together and make a conjunction on the first minute of the first degree of, so it's 00 Aquarius 01. That's where they're making their conjunction. So this really is sort of a
Lighter day.
well, it's not necessary. It's like this is the marching orders that we're getting. It's like you have to learn how to relate Venus and Mars in a humanitarian, equal, and progressive way with each other.
That's Aquarius too, right?
That's Aquarius. That's Aquarius. So these hints, we're getting hints all along on how to manage this. And so I think over the next couple of years, we're really going to start to see a shift in that, but we have a little ways to go. And
Oh yeah, it's a process.
it's a process, and it's not just, like we're here in America, we're so America-centric, mainly because that's what we're exposed to. Like we don't really hear about the rest of the world, and very much like in this sort of big media bubble, I guess, unless you actually seek out other information.
Right.
It's not like right there for you. Um, and of course we had 4 years of Donald Trump, so we had our own issues to deal with, and and then we have the
Yeah.
insurrection, and we have all these, quite frankly, very heavily armed militias.
Mhm.
They have a lot of guns, and I'm not sure whose side the cops are on. So there's a
I think that
tension.
varies city to city.
Yeah, I guess there's a tension. There's a tension, and that tension is between the authoritarian and the people.
Mhm.
And we're seeing it in the Ukraine. We're seeing it here. We're
It's in
seeing these
France, it's in
themes.
Germany, it's
Yes,
in
these
England, it's
themes,
everywhere.
right. These themes have to do with the changing
All
of
over.
the energy, the changing of the age. And we have an opportunity to really step up. And I feel like we're doing it. And I know that the kids are definitely, they're looking at us and saying, what's going on? You know,
Yeah.
maybe they're not looking at me, but you know,
Yep.
I mean,
So the
what's going on in Florida? Oh, we can't say we're gay. Well, then we're all gay.
right.
Right?
Oh my
I
God,
mean,
that
can
stuff
you?
is crazy.
I don't understand.
One of the songs that I like to sing, and I don't really exactly know all the reasons, but for some reason, it's that song "What's Up" by Four Non Blondes. It's
Oh, what's
25
going on?
years. Yeah, well, it's what's called
What's
What's Up.
going
Yeah, it's like
on?
25
I
years.
said,
I'm still,
hey,
yeah,
hey. Now
25
I
years
said,
and I'm still wondering, where I'm going and where we're going and what my place is in the world. And it just reminds me that that humanity is always, there's always something. We're always moving somewhere. We're always moving forward, or sometimes we feel like we're moving backward, but we're really not. We're really all evolving, and it gets confusing, and it feels peculiar, like from the song, I'm feeling a little peculiar, that you're lucky if you're only feeling a little peculiar, but yeah, it's a song that just kind of expresses the insanity of the planet to me. And I love that song. I don't know why. I dance to it. I love it. It's one of those songs that does something for me, but it describes so well how this, and she says, I've been 25 years, something about being in an institution. It's like, yeah, we are institutionalized,
well,
all
we
of us.
certainly are.
And I visualize that as social institutions that and church institutions and all that kind of stuff that we're trying to break free of right now.
Right. And Pluto is in Capricorn, which is about institutions.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So listen to the words in that song sometime.
I love
Listen to
that
it from,
song.
everyone loves that song, but pay attention to the words, and feel what it means for humanity. She sings it from her own personal perspective, but it's really for all of humanity. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
So how much more time do we have, and where do we want to go from here?
I think that I'd like to maybe wrap this up, but perhaps we can do a little meditation exercise, something we can do together to sort of put out our intention.
Let's give some soothing. Yeah, that's a great idea. Some soothing and some self-compassion. And I don't know. I don't even know exactly what would happen, but something nice will happen. We've been talking about ways to deal with the ups and downs of the ascension process and living in being a soul in human body on this planet this time. So something fun will come up. Do you want me to start it, or do you want to start it?
I'll let you start it, honey.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do it like a 3-minute meditation. I do these intuitively, so I can't really tell you what it's going to be, but it's going to be something nice. All right, everybody, just breathe in through the nose, deeply into the diaphragm. Hold for a second and exhale deeply until you feel your diaphragm muscles pushing against the back wall of your the back of your back of your back. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Now feel the oxygen going into the brain and into all the tissues and relaxing everything. You are detoxing with these breaths. These are cleansing breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out slowly, fully. On the next exhale, we're going to say, ah. So breathe in really deeply into the diaphragm. Ah. Feel the blood pressure going down. Feel the thoughts slowing down. Feel the heart rate going down. Feel all the tension being released from every part of the body. If you feel any tension, deliberately let it go. Release, loosen, soften. Now, put your head down a little bit and focus on the heart. Just focus your energy on the heart. And if you want, you can place your hand on your heart. And what we're going to do is a little heart breathing right now. So with every in-breath, we're seeing it as going directly into the heart and magnifying the energy of the heart. So breathe in and watch it exhale from the heart. These are not big, long breaths. These are about 5 seconds each. This is a breath work that I've recently been learned about. So breathe into the heart. Exhale from the heart. One more. Just for a moment, visualize the whole chest filled with beautiful green Archangel Raphael type energy and hold it there. Now, reach up with your mind into the universe and find a beautiful purple color, a purple ray of light. And allow that purple ray of light to come down, 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 down into the top of your head and bring that purple light all the way through your face and your ears and the back of your neck and your spine and your shoulders and your arms and your fingers and your inner organs, all the way down through your hips and your perineum, your backside, your thighs, knees, legs, feet, until you see all purple at the bottom of your feet. So now what we're going to do is to join the colors in a very beautiful way. So with the next breath, I want you to breathe green in a circular way into the mind, into where the purple just came in. So breathe in the green, send it up to the top of the head. And watch how it merges colors with the top of the head purple color. And now you have a green and purple ribbon coming down, 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 back down into your heart. And through the circulatory system of the heart, the green and purple go hand in hand, running through every vein, every artery, all the lymph systems, the endocrine system, every single organ of the body, all the respiratory, all the cells, all the way to your feet are now being puffed up, animated by, loved, detoxified, and healed by the green energy of the Archangel Raphael and the purple energy of Source. Know that you are Source. You are Source. You are Source. You are a heart. Whether you have a human body or not, you are heart energy. So mix the heart and the mind and come into balance. We'll end this meditation. Think of something that brings you joy, and it can be absolutely anything. I don't mean just pleasure, I mean joy, something that makes you so extremely happy. And make a picture of it and put that picture of it in the heart. I'll give you a minute. Be a person, place, thing, object, location, anything that makes you feel joy. Now breathe in joy into the heart. And look at that picture of that thing getting bigger. Now bring joy back into the heart and see the heart getting bigger. And see the lungs expanding and see all the beautiful energy flowing from the heart to every single part of your body through this joy. The joy is everywhere now, all through your body. Now breathe the joy in the circular fashion from the heart through the neck, up behind the head to meet with the heart, divine energy at the crown. Breathe in and now watch the green and purple ribbons of light completely surround your body. From head to toe. You are now in a cocoon of divinity and beautiful heart love. And you are safe, you are protected, you are joyous. And you have all your feelings and they're all filtered through love now. You can filter all through love. Love is all and all is well. Love is all and all is well. Love is all and all is well. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, I think that's a beautiful way to, thank you. I'm just getting another cuppa. Beautiful way to end our high tea, even though it's high coffee.
High octane. I want to thank everybody for sticking it out, being with us. Thank you for watching.
It's always a pleasure to spend time with you, Denise. And I know that my watchers enjoy our conversations, enjoy our friendship. I don't think as much as we enjoy our friendship, but they do enjoy.
Well, energy flows from us, and that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah.
Between us and through us, so
that's right.
Nice.
We're expressions and reflections of our divine nature.
Yes, we are.
So and really that's what namaste means. The divine in me honors the divine in you. And so for all of you out there, know that we see you, know that we love you, and know that we're here for you. If you need a reading, or if you need
energy healing, or
whatever it is,
something to talk about, someone to talk to.
Right.
No, we're here.
We're here for each other, and we're not alone.
Never.
And
Never
together we will rise up and rise up. We'll rise up today. We'll rise up, despite of the ache. We'll rise up.
Yes.
I forget the rest of the words, so
it's okay. That's good. Rise up. Love it.
All right, guys. Much love. Take care. We love you very much.
Love you.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you. My pleasure. Okay. Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.